And we're back for what could possibly be, I can't even talk, what could possibly be our second, our last series of the day. I'm going to start over. And we're back for what could potentially be the last game of the evening. Our second series could potentially be wound up now if TongFu's able to notch another win and make it a 2-0 win, while Rising Star is still searching for that elusive win. But they're going to have to win 2 in a row if they are going to get it here tonight. And that other voice mocking me, laughing at me as the exhaustion sets in, my good friend Ben Merlini Wu. Ben, welcome back in, my friend. It's been a long 24 hours, and we still got more Dota ahead of us starting tomorrow morning. But for right now, TongFu, I mean, I'll be honest, we saw a shorter game today, but I think TongFu looked more dominant in their win over Rising Stars in Game 1 than even Na'Vi did it against Virtus Pro.
Yes, the Rising Stars is like, F that Alchemist, we are taking him out. But still, they have to worry about the Viper. Viper has just been so annoying. You can't see him do much aside from when he gets Scepter and just Viper strikes everybody. But that hero just like slows everybody. The movement speed, sacking slow on poison attack, as well as Corrosive Skin, just proves to be very annoying. You can't leave him alone because he does so much damage with Nether Toxin too. And he dominates his lane. So Viper, I expect to continue being a top tier pick in D2L.
Fun piece of lore. Just going to toss this out here. You know, in Dota 2 lore, Viper was actually the pet of Venomancer.
Wow.
Yeah. Know your lore, son. Hashtag get on my level. TongFu opening up with that Earthshaker and that Viper pick, and a couple of support picks out of Rising Stars as well, Naga Siren and Visage. But talking about Viper, just to kind of drive home the point you're making, I mean, Viper's just one of those weird heroes that you can't really take the same approach you would to similar heroes just because of the way the hero functions. Innately tanky because of corrosive armor, and, of course, with his more than anything, though, early on, even before he gets Viper Strike up, even before he gets the Scepter up, I should say, to make Viper Strike much more spammable, he's one of those heroes you can't really afford to try to run away from. He will track you down. He will find you. He will become a Liam Neeson
from Taken.
I was going to say, he will become Liam Neeson.
He will track you. He will find you down. He will kill you.
He will Liam Neeson you, is what I'm saying. He will treat you as if you abducted his daughter, who was very, very silly, and just apparently like to invite strange Frenchmen into their very nice condo when they're alone on a trip.
You don't do
I
that?
invite strange Frenchmen? No, I don't. But I'm just mumbling gibberish at this point. Merlini, say something insightful, please.
What? I do that.
Yeah, no, very frequently.
I Liam Neeson people, though.
Windrunner will be the third pick out for TongFu at this point. And anyway, Viper, a tough hero to engage into unless you're 100% positive it's a fight you want to take, just because trying to retreat from him tends to guarantee he's going to get at least one reprisal kill against you. And then if you try to, him and Han try to re-engage, he's got the advantage there as well because you're moving in with reduced attack.
So what doesn't the hero have?
A Hand of Midas right now, anyway, but I'm sure he will sometime soon.
That can always change.
Oh, it will always
how far
change.
You are into the game.
35-minute Midas. Doesn't matter if he's died 15 times and you're desperately trying to catch up. Hand of Midas apparently is the way that you get a hero into the mid game. That Hand of Midas.
It's not apparently. It's assuredly.
That Hand of Midas on that Slarter earlier just it soured me forever. I will never get over that. I just won't. I will lose sleep over it. Mirana going to be the pickup from Rising Stars. And with Grave Chill and Ensnare, Rising Stars going to be looking to chain the Sacred Arrow off of Naga Siren and Visage. A lot of roam potential coming out from both teams very early on.
I think pressure is certainly on Rising Stars. They just have to not die early. And I don't think that they should play passively and try and counter the game from TongFu. I think they should just go all out with aggression, especially with the hero like Earthshaker. They can pick them off pretty early. Just try and Visage just so much damage early, and that hero is just so good. I'm glad that Rising Stars got that because I want to see more of a contest. TongFu picking up a very early Windrunner. This is very unusual. I mean, we've seen Windrunners now and then, but when have we been like, oh my gosh, that winner just destroyed?
Yep.
It's very, very rare. Probably one out of every 5 or 6 games, I want to say. Whereas Viper, I see having a big impact very often. Same with Visage too. So there's high impact heroes with a high probability of having an impact. Windrunner's a high risk, decent reward. Not even high risk, high reward, I'd say.
Yeah, which she's just stable. I mean, she's a hero, kind of has a little bit of everything that can fit into just about any lineup. I mean, she's got a nice escape, so you can run her in risky situations that allows her to roam without a whole lot of threat of dying early on. She has a fairly reliable stun, so long as, I mean, it's hitting a good shackle that catches two heroes a little bit difficult, but just trying to shackle someone off a creep or off a tree, for the most part, at this level of play, that's not going to be difficult for anyone who would be handed control of a Windrunner in a professional game. And yeah, she just fits in, of course, having Power Shot. It's easy to underestimate how much damage Power Shot can do if a Windrunner's on par with levels. So just a nice kind of a buffer hero that can get you, that will help you transition from one phase of the game to the other, and does have the added benefit of when she does go crazy, gets up things like a very fast mechanism that simply is going to help every lineup, gets up a scythe of ice.
Four staff kite.
Yep, exactly.
So good.
Exactly. So Beastmaster going to be picked up by TongFu again, and we've seen mixed results with Beastmaster here in the D2L. Beastmaster for a long time was a real mainstay, and now a much more situational pick for the most part. I mean, it's still an amazing initiator on a single target. Obviously grants you a lot of vision with Call of the Wild, and Inner Beast, of course, is always going to help any late game carry one way or the other. But, he's a little weak in the laning phase. He's kind of easy to dive, kind of easy to shove around. So
I think he's good in mid. He's not good in the side lane, though.
I agree. I really don't think that the long lane or the solo lane Beastmaster anywhere but mid really is that reliable anymore.
Yeah, it's very unreliable. And we saw, I believe, YYF play it. He gave first blood to Black and then just didn't really do anything the rest of the game. So I think it's good if you can find kills with them, but what are they going to do? Is it going to be a Zoe Viper and a Moo Beastmaster, or is it going to be an offlane Beastmaster with a solo mid Viper and a farming Windrunner? TongFu's lanes are very open, and they can adapt to Rising Stars lineup. They're most likely going to do Naga Siren Visit, Mirana, Tri-Lane, Nature's Prophet, and the offlane, and probably CTOI solo mid. I guess there are other options running like a dual lane in the offlane, but that's very, very unusual and doesn't really fit well with the lineup. So Rising Stars already out of the gate has like a very predictable laning phase.
Mm-hmm. Aside from being predictable in the laning phase, they're pretty damn squishy. I mean, you look at TongFu or Shaker, I mean, he's going to be food if he gets caught up with. But Viper, we were already talking about how innately tanky that hero is. Windrunner, pretty innately survivable. With Windrun skilled, and Beastmaster, a hero who does tend to tank up pretty early as well. Compare that to a Nature's Prophet, who really needs a couple of core items before he really starts to feel like he's a huge impact. Mirana does have some escapability, but we've seen how that can be shut down, and Viper's actually really good at shutting down a Mirana if he can get off a Viper strike before Leap, because Leap, it'll allow her to put some distance there for a moment, but with Viper strikes slow continuing to remain in effect, allows him to still pursue her down. Visage following the nerf to 6.79. His popularity hasn't really fallen off, but we have seen just how easily he can be bursted down by a lineup like TongFu is fielding. And Naga Siren, of course, very, very squishy early on. So this is going to be a game where Rising Stars, I actually really like the synergy of the heroes, Nature's Prophet being able to bounce around the map very easily. Mirana, of course, being able to chain Sacred Arrow off of Grave Chill and off of the Ensnare. They have the ability to kind of rotate any of these four heroes into any situation and have a chance to blow a target up with well planned out chains of initiation. But if they screw it up, they have a chance to die very, very often.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Link's Nature's Prophet today. Like if their triple lane goes to absolute crap like it did last game, he can at least TP in it and somewhat salvage it. Like what is the Juggernaut going to do at like level 3, level 4, right? Pretty much nothing. And it requires a TP scroll. He can't get to the lane very fast, and it's just not very efficient, right? But with Nature's Prophet, he can dominate the triple lane hopefully, and he can get right back to his lane so he doesn't lose that much lane control. So I think this is a much better situation for them. They realized their weakness last game. I think is very obvious and apparent what went wrong with them last game. Don't lose your triple lane that hard, and Nature's Prophet will help to stymie that in case things go poorly. And you always need a backup plan in your draft.
Storm Spirit, the fifth and final pickup for TongFu, going to give them some much-needed initiation and reach. Beastmaster obviously kind of relying on a Blink Dagger. Same with Earthshaker. Windrunner can serve as an initiator off of Force Staff or even just off of Windrunning in and looking for Shackles. But now having that long-range Storm Spirit who's going to be able to have a big effect on the map, he's going to be up against an Ancient Apparition here. Now, this AA pickup is kind of fascinating to me. Really easy to chain things like Cold Feet off of Grave Chill, off of Ensnare, off of Sacred Arrow, off of Sprout. And the level 1 punching power is certainly going to be there with Chilling Touch. I mean, we have seen so many First Bloods happen just because an Ancient Apparition plus 1 or 2 manages to corner out a hero, and that massive amount of bonus damage he's able to produce can't be underestimated. But other than that, I mean, it'll be nice to nullify an early mechanism if ZSMJ is able to produce one on Windrunner. Other than that, I'm just not sure why the AA is so necessary here. It's going to be played by CTY, so we'll see if he ends up taking it mid. One would imagine he will. And Rising Stars moving slowly out the gate. If you're there, Ben, you may be muted. I'm actually not even hearing your mic hiss, so hopefully you didn't fall asleep on me, but even if you did, we love you anyway. Taking a look at the lineups as the teams move out, we'll have QQQ handling our Naga Siren with Mirana, played by Miracle this time around. King J going to be handling. I love his Nature's Prophet outfit, by the way. He looks like, I made a joke about what he looks like before. I can't remember what it was. I think it said something about a slow kid. I don't know. Moving on, CTY will be playing on the Ancient Apparition here in mid, and XDD will be handling the Visage. On the other side of the river, we've got Zoe playing on the Viper. Windrunner will be handled by ZSMJ. And the last time we saw ZSMJ handling our Windrunner, he was just an absolute beast on him. And, you know, we were talking about how maybe 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 games you just see a Windrunner go bonkers. Have seen ZSMJ do it more than once on the hero, so great candidate to be handling her. San Sheng will be playing on the Earthshaker. He's been playing a lot of Shaker since 6.79. Very much a feast or famine kind of a player. Usually has a really good game or a really non-existent game. He's certainly going to be needing some assistance, or they're going to be needing his assistance if they're going to get things back on, well, keep things on track and look to close things out. XTT will be farming up the Beastmaster. He's under cover of an Invis rune right now, while the Storm Spirit will be handled here in mid by Moo. So hopefully you're there, Ben. Are you there now? Up, reconnected to the game, and there's a he may have had a connection issue, which means I may actually need to reestablish my audio connection with him. So, all right. Yep, so very quickly we're going to reestablish our connection with Ben. And welcome back, Mr. Merlini.
Yeah, that was my slight connection issue, but I guess it was at an opportune time.
Yeah.
As opportune as any.
Exactly. Right at the beginning, in fact, didn't miss much. Ran through the lineups. There was no attempted aggression. They just went to lane and did make a comment about the Ancient Apparition as you disconnected. I mean, the AA being run here in mid. AA out of mid can be good, and really, I mean, there are some side benefits, maybe being able to nullify an early mechanism on the Windrunner or on Zoe, depending on which hero they want to build it. Other than that, I'm just not entirely sure what he's going to give them. I mean, he's going to be able to chain Cold Feet off of a lot of the abilities, Sacred Arrow and so forth on down the line, and Snare and the Sprout, what have you. But other than that, the Ancient Apparition is that a pick that you really see fitting in here, or is that just kind of a reach?
It's a reach, I'd say.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen him shine. I think that VP used him actually to pretty great effect, but Moo actually gets stunned out. But he worked really well with a Clockwork, but there is no Clockwork. I guess maybe with Sprout they can try and disable Viper. It might make him like think twice about being able to slow people, but still the hero just seems like slightly lackluster. He doesn't really offer that much in the late game too. He has a Chilling Touch, which is a nice boost in physical damage, but he is just so vulnerable. If Moo jumps on him, if he gets Viper struck, if Storm or Beastmaster stuns him out, like he's just dead. He doesn't really offer anything if he gets stunned out first, but he is really good if you are on the offensive. But can Rising Stars get to the point where they're actually very aggressive on TongFu? That is the big question.
We can already see. I mean, there's actually a deceptive amount of kill potential here from this. There's a Sacred Arrow that's going to split the wickets. Zoe and ZSMJ darting out of the way. And, if San Sheng can land one good fissure and block the retreat paths of QQQ and XDD, I mean, Miracle will be able to leap away. But they're going to be able to follow that up with the slow from Zoe and the shackle from ZSMJ. And with Power Shot coming out already in ZSMJ at level 2, there's a lot of kill potential here. They really got to watch their step.
Yeah, they do. That's a very scary try action. Keeping my eyes peeled up there. In terms of other solo lanes, we see King J versus XTT on bottom. It shouldn't be a kill either way, unless maybe if King J sticks around with a little bit of a low HP when XTT hits level 6. Oh, Moo might actually get a kill in middle. Wow, very, very close.
Yep, CTY able to just barely make it away. Continuing to keep an eye on this top lane. This top lane is one of those lanes that can be quiet for a while and then become volatile very, very quickly. Already in the CS department. Hang on, there's an ensnare on to Zozy SMJ's there. He's actually going to eat the Sacred Arrow, and a great fissure disjoints the entire chain of initiation. XTT might end up dead. They're going to give first blood to Miracle, but they might get a return kill on QQQ as well. Sansheng is right there. Has enough mana for another fissure. That will be a return kill come hell or high water. He will go ahead and throw it out, and they might get Miracle as well. There's the leap procced and a TP forced out. That will be the return of XDD, so not actually forced out as he just respawned that quickly. 2-1, TongFu manages to turn what should have been a loss into a win.
I don't know why the Furion canceled his TP. He was like, he had it queued up. He was like right there, and it's not like Beastmaster can interrupt him. I think the right-click damage would have probably turned that into a 2-on-1, or at worst a 1-on-1 or 1-for-1. So, I mean, he trades Beastmaster farm. Just could have gone either way, I guess. But Zoe already off to a very good start. He does get netted out.
After there's a Sacred Arrow to follow it up. Riptide's there, and the burst just way too high. And that's honestly just a little bit of hubris on Zoe's part. The SMJ was nowhere near, and Sansheng was actually trying to pre-rune top just in case it was contested.
Where my team at?
Basically, ping, 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 where you is.
Yeah, he needs he can't stay out like that. That lane has just incredible amounts of kill potential. Miracle sticking around with quite low HP. He is like, if he gets just fissured in power shot, which is very long range and it's fairly easy to coordinate, he's just gonna die straight up. So he has to be extremely careful.
Taking a look at the early CS is actually a win for Rising Stars. If they got the two top 28 CS, and now they're actually going to be, they got Moran at long distance. That's
just
silly. Yeah.
I mean, it's very obvious from my perspective. Oh, what can happen? He needs a salve, or just go home. Stop being greedy. They were doing well in their tri lane before too.
Yep, and really unfortunate. Just think getting that kill on Zoe put them back to even more or less, and now all of a sudden it's once again a one lane for TongFu, and the kill potential on both sides remains quite high. Zoe with the basket up. They're going to go ahead and snare him out. The SMJ and Sansheng are both there. I'm not sure what QQQ was thinking.
No way they can get that kill.
Yeah. They're going to throw the AA ulti up there. ZSMJ is going to walk right into it. That may be a kill. Sansheng actually gets caught with the Sacred Arrow and a double kill. Double kill with that ulti coming out of mid lane. So taking a chance, rolling the dice, and coming up aces. Suddenly Rising Stars has the kill lead as well as the CS lead.
Well, we talked about like AA he not having that much of impact, but we haven't seen him solo mid, and like a solo mid AA just throwing that into the tri lane. This is exactly what they needed. They had the Nature's Prophet ultimate, they had the threat of the Nature's Prophet teleport, they have the AA ultimate. There are so many things that is just gonna mess with TongFu's tri lane, and yeah, it might have won out stronger, but they realized that they need help, and I mean, now it's actually pretty cool too, because they don't actually have to leave their lane in order to help. So they're not really sacrificing that much farm or control. But CTY about to get caught out. XTT is level 6. He should be aware because this lane is absolutely empty on bottom. The Nature's Prophet doesn't really need to be scared because they're so far away from him. But CTY, he has to play super far back. There's another AA ult thrown on top, but CTY is going to die in the process.
CTY got the ulti off. Will be cleaned up for sure. The AA ulti will just fly through. Looks like he got a little distracted trying to save his own life, so not a whole lot accomplished with that ultimate. Make it 4-4 as we approach 7 minutes. The gold slightly in favor of Rising Stars right now. A lot of that, again, mechanically related. The experience is actually slightly in favor, and by slightly, I mean very slightly in favor of TongFu. Negligibly in favor of them, but TongFu looking to get the gold back under control as well. XTT.
Oh, they're looking to kill CTY again. Look at this very aggressive play. They didn't even use Roar for that. So if he TVs back mid, he is a goner. Moo picked up a regen too, so he is ready. CTY is just going to walk back in. I think that he spent most of his gold, so not that big of a loss. Oh, are they going to get a kill on top, though?
So, there's the AA ultimate. Not even... Oh, wow. Actually managed to get a couple. Ancient Apparition actually takes the downtown Leroy Brown
right
kill.
Here, though.
Yep, CTY in mid. Sansheng actually just watched him walk right past. I'm probably going to see Moon out at level 7 engaged, and they're just going to dive it from behind. Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen. Here we go. There's the Ball Lightning, the Roar as well. They actually did not, they overlapped quite a bit there. They may end up giving up quite a bit in exchange for that. XTT for sure will end up dead. Moo's going to be able to waddle himself back to safety. And Sacred Arrow attempt by Miracle at top doesn't connect. Rising Stars.
Is just so much better this game, like just infinitely better than last game.
It's I very much agree. They feel like they're in much more control of what their plan is for this early game phase. They're not just letting it slip away from them.
CTY is also involved in infinitely more kills than last game.
Yeah, no joke. 3, 2, and 1. He's involved in 4 of the 7 so far. and has done so without being anywhere near the lanes in which they've actually taken place. A couple of deaths in mid, certainly, he would have liked to have avoided, but can't argue that he has done so much to help Rising Stars get this top lane back under control.
Yeah, I think this is like very cool. The AA mid, are they going to bring it back? I've seen Boba do it a couple times before to decent effect, not like astounding effect. I think that CT-wise is actually a bigger impact than almost every other AA I've seen in mid. But I think a lot of it has to do with just very aggressive play by TongFu, thinking that they have the advantage because they were able to snag a lot of kills, including a very easy kill on Mirana, and just overextending a little bit and overstaying their welcome.
The Ancient Apparition mid's fun. Na'Vi, towards the end of D2L Season 3, was doing that quite a bit. Playing some roaming lineups. Say they would pick a Bounty Hunter, a Nyx Assassin, and an Ancient Apparition played by Dindy mid. And it would just be devastating once those three hooked up and started to roam through the enemy jungle just looking for targets. We're going to see TongFu go looking for targets now as they've smoked once again. That's going to be XTT and San Sheng. And looks like they might try to maybe dive here. There's a smoke out of Rising Stars as well. Yeah, they're setting up shop here behind, and now they're going to spot out the Zoes alone. Sacred Arrow follows up the Ensnare, and the AA ulti is going to be there, not even needed.
Zoe has to watch his position. They also scouted ZSMJ with the trajectory from the AA ultimate, and look at these birds. These birds are going to do a lot of damage to ZSMJ too. They're actually stunning him out. Is there going to be an arrow to follow up?
Actually overshot it. There's going to be a fissure to help buy some time. Soul Assumption, barely not enough. Shackle actually buys him some more time. Moo's going to rotate over, right-click him down. Now going to grab him with the Vortex. Power shots there as well. Song Sheng going to be there to help clean it up with XTT, but
what a sleep!
Song of the Siren popped by QQQ, buying just enough time. The fissure goes off, but King J under cover of Moonlight Shadow will be able to make it back to safety, and that Naga Siren pick paying for itself right there.
Rising Stars are just like playing so much better than the last game. It's incredible how well they've adapted to TongFu's playstyle after last game, and TongFu's doing something very similar last game. It's like, okay, we'll try to win our solo lanes. We'll just try and win each of our lanes without really rotating that much. And we haven't seen Mu leave mid just until the 10-minute mark when he just tried to get the kill in Nature's Prophet. And Beastmaster has rotated a little bit, but Rising Star is just doing a complete 180 from the first game. Just like, hey, we're going to help out our tri-lane as much as possible, because even if we win 2 out of our 3 lanes, it's not enough. And they realize what went wrong, and they're compensating very well. Mirana needs more farm, though. Look at her items. Ring of Aquila, brown boots, 900 gold. 3-1 and 3, though, which is fairly respectable. Unless she has a Midas coming out on her right now, I'm actually surprised that she's that underfarmed.
Yeah, we'll see what item she wants to pick up. XTT's ready to go fight again. Has his ultimate up and has Axes up as well. Maxed out, I should say. It's 4 points into Axes. Mu should be fairly ready to fight, very close to having a full mana pool. CTY might show his face here. And he will. Let's see if they want to try and make something happen. In the meantime, there's a 3 or 2-man smoke coming out from Rising Stars, trying to bait something out. If they go here, it could be bad, though, as TongFu has a lot of personnel on the other side of the river.
This net worth is actually very, very highly in favor of Rising Stars. Oh, I just saw a smoke from XTT and Song Sheng, but look at King J's farm. He is off the charts right now. Phase Boost, Midas, Ring of Basilius, 1,250 gold in 12 minutes time. That is incredible. He's likely about to die right now, unless he is has the incredible map awareness. Yeah, he is dead.
There's the wound up for it. Now going to spin the roar. San Sheng is there to chain it up with the fissure. Power shot there to help things out here. In a minute, we're going to have Mu jumping on QQQ. Will be able to get the kill and might be able to survive. Bouncing back and forth out of the auto attacks. One Soul Assumption makes it a 1-for-1, though. So they end up going 2-for-2 across the entire map. And, yeah, these exchanges just aren't going TongFu's way. They're taking them, but they're almost always favoring Rising Stars.
Yeah, I mean, Nature's probably had 1,250 gold before that death. Now he has 1,500 gold. So he actually gained gold from casting his Wrath of Nature and getting his Midas off right before. And Mu going in against a 1v3 situation, that's such a low probability thing. They can't keep giving up more deaths. Kill score 10-7 in favor of Rising Stars. Miracle just trying to farm up. He tends to do this too. We saw in the Luna first game, just like AFK farming Midas. It's just like, screw this, I'm not helping your team unless we get like a huge RP or they're pushing our racks. And looks to be a similar situation on him. I don't think he should he should stop the aggression. He has his Midas after one more creep, so maybe he'll start fighting after that. I think they can just keep pressing their lead right now. Storm Spirit nowhere close to his Orchid. Viper nowhere close to his mech. Windrunner nowhere close to Mech or a Force Staff, and Airstriker nowhere close to Blink. And if they like just lay off a little bit and let TongFu farm up and get their key items, then it's going to be much more difficult to keep up the pressure. Moonlight Shadow looks like they want to play aggressive on Zoe.
And moving across the river, Zoe has not had the best start, to be honest. He's sitting at
Patience
1 and
from
4.
Zoe.
Exactly. Pulling back into the trees. TongFu looks like they're ready to try and challenge this tier 1 bottom. That's going to prompt a reaction. King J's already there. QQQ will show up with Song of the Siren ready to go if they want to try and initiate off of it. And the rest of them going to go ahead and rotate as well. Moo and XTT head up to top. And ZSMJ and Sunshine got to be careful.
They have enough damage to kill him. Miracle, again, he's just like farming out. He has brown boots. He has 850 HP. He's just going to die if he gets left on.
There's going to be Vortex and the Roar from XTT. Spent just to secure the kill. In the meantime, at bottom, are they going to try to catch out ZSMJ? The Familiar's trying to block him. And we see ZSMJ actually using Wind Run. There's the Ensnare. Sansheng should be able to disjoint this and will. The Fissure slows him down. AA ulti will be off the mark as well as the Grave Chill just coming a little bit too late there. So these two keeping and staying alive. And the fact that, and you know, less Rising Stars can for sure take this, and they should be able to take it. Question is if it'll be denied. There's a Fissure, and the Glyph is there. ZSMJ trying to get the last shot off. Tough to do. Very close to getting that done.
Die.
Nope, going to be able to make it away.
Yeah, Miracle, I mean, he can't split push, not versus a Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit is just so good at picking people off. If he keeps giving him kills, he's going to have his Orchid before he gets his Manta, and it's just going to be a lot of trouble. I think Miracle, just pick up Phase Boots or Trez. Most common pickup is Phase Boots, and then just keep helping your team out. Shoot easy arrows after Visage Burst Suns, after Sprouts, after Cold Feet, after Ensnare. There's so many ways to set it up. He's not the AFK farmer. And Miracle, I don't want to say that he's having like trouble meshing in with the Rising Stars lineup. It just sometimes he just tends to be super farm heavy, similar to Black, I think, but they're slightly different players, but similar in some aspects.
Could be a big kill if Sansheng could track down King J. He's going to have another Fissure in 10 seconds. That's going to be about 4 seconds too long, though. And yep, he's just going to have to TP out. And Sacred Arrow barely whiffs. It's like in a movie, basically going through the dust he leaves as he flips the bird and heads back to the well. But forcing King J back, at least for a little while, might have its own benefits. He's got a Midas up and needs to spend it.
He's not heading back. He wants to get that GG 190 gold, man.
Hey, man, he's certainly waiting there. Just heard it go off, so. Took him a little while, but manages to find a big old Centaur to use it on.
Mech on CTY. Look at CTY's farm. Treads, Mech, he has Midas in 16 minutes, and he's been involved in 6 kills. So as much as I was harping on him this game is just a world difference, and their team seems to be riddled with inconsistent players. Like King J, he has a hit or miss clockwork, just a very bad game 1 yesterday, very good game 2, very bad game 3, and they have the skill, they just need to polish and refine.
Moo comes in and immediately jumps away. There's an Ensnare on the Zoe. Sacred Arrow will follow it up, and Moonlight Shadow going to be used as a shackle on the CTY. It actually caught 2, takes him out of the fight. Zoe's still up and going, and there's the Roar out. They're going to manage to track down at least 1. That's the AA. Song of the Siren, allowing them to reset. Let's see if they do want to re-engage. Visage Familiars will get a 2-man stun. There's going to be a jump on the Miracle. He's down, and the Echo Slam does good damage. QQQ ends up dropping. King J likely to be next. XTT able to survive with 80 HP. Can they get the last one? They will. The jump into the Roche pit, and now going to die to creeps of all things. Little bit of greed there. The Song of the Siren gave Rising Stars a free get out of jail free card, I should say.
CTY can't get caught out. He didn't use his mech. He didn't use the ultimate. If they had either of those, they probably would have won the fight.
Yep. And instead, TongFu able to turn it around and make it a 4-for-1 exchange and cutting down on that lead just a bit. And yeah, we could see for the first time in a while the gold heading in their direction.
Keep on Midasing. They do have 2 Midases to 0, so if they do want to play the passive farm game, they don't have the best late game. I mean, but they do have the farming potential to kind of negate the difference in lineup. So on the Viper scales very well with the item. Storm Spirit with a huge mana pool can just solo kill anybody. So Rising Stars, they need like a probably 10-15,000 gold lead if they want to like extend it to like 40-45 minutes and have a very good chance at winning. Meanwhile, on top, Miracle senses out a gank. Nope. Eh.
He's flirting with it, man. Miracle,
Yeah.
pretty greedy player. You'll see him go back for a few
He is super
CS.
greedy.
And we've seen it blow up in his face, both figuratively and literally, more than a few times. Looks like TongFu will go ahead and settle back. Take a look at the net worth and where we stand. Top 3 all belong to Rising Stars, so that's definitely the position they want to be in at this stage of the game, with their lineup being what it is.
Maybe more Moonlight Shadow ganks, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
No, I agree. I think they need to remain on the aggressive. Because what's going to end up happening is 1 or 2 fights can completely turn this around. They are ahead, but only 2,000 ahead for the Nature's Prophet over the Storm Spirit, for example.
TongFu going on CTY on bottom.
And CTY caught out. He got off the ulti. That's going to be thrown out to towards top. And didn't even see where it was headed towards as it stands, though. TongFu doing what they need to do, just taking picks where they can find them.
They're very good at splitting up efficiently. Like, this 2-man hero crew has picked off Miracle as well as CTY, and they're just definitely getting back in the game by splitting up effectively. They need supports behind CTY or whoever they think is going to be potentially ganked and turn things around with a very nice Song of Siren into an arrow, or even a net into an arrow, just anything. Visage Bird Stun to counter initiate, but they're just not doing a good job of saving their teammates at all and protecting the heroes that have a lot of farm. They've given up so much experience with those couple of kills. TongFu heavily leading in experience right now, almost 3,000, and the gold lead is going to drop to a little less than 5,000 after this.
And yeah, we'll watch it. We'll wait for it to update. Taking a look at the items that have come out. Level 2 Necro Book up on King J. So he is making some progress. Taking a look at Son Shang. He's got 400 gold towards his Blink Dagger. He actually opted to go ahead and get an urn in the meantime, so not even rushing it entirely. Getting the urn after his Arcane Boots. The mech certainly well underway. In fact, that might be it, yeah. So Zoe now with his mechanism up, very key item for him as a hero and for his entire team. The Orchid with 1 Oblivion Staff now done for Moo. There's some progress there, and check that. Not just 1 Oblivion Staff, the Orchid completed, and the items are coming out fast and furious on both sides. TongFu, though, in particular, off of that tower kill, off of the last couple of big wins they had, have really begun to fill out their inventory. They're actually going to get a 4-staff up on XTT. He's going to have it in about 150 gold now.
Yeah, it's really scary. It was just all this mid fight. I think they lost because of just their like positioning, but I think it was more like positioning and execution. And if they just try to take another team fight, I think they could win it with the gold lead. But now with them getting a couple pigs, them getting the T, or them pushing the T1 on top, and the mech pickup, like things are just starting to click for TongFu. And Rising Stars had the opportunity to just completely crush them, perhaps pressure a T2, perhaps get erosion, but letting that opportunity slip away. All they need to do is just Naga Siren ulti into an AA ulti and then just clean up from there. Hit somebody with the arrow, just dump some King J on bottom. Oh, arrow
nice
comes out.
Arrow. Cold Feet to follow it up, not even needed. So a nice return pick going the way of Rising Stars. Allows them to cut into that small kill lead that TongFu has generated. But yeah, the gold heading back.
They had to watch out for Song of Siren. If they get 3-man caught out right there into an AA ulti, they are dead meat. Like mech or no mech, it does not matter against the AA ulti.
AOLT will be off the mark. The net worth still continuing to favor Rising Stars, but again, well, at this point, it's still about 2,000 gold there. That's the
Look
thing.
at King J. If he hits him with a Nature's Prophet ultimate, nope, down for 40 seconds, and AOL down for 15. So ZSMJ just heading back to base safely.
Moo with a near full mana pool. We'll go ahead and jump on him on Miracle. Using the Orchid as well. The TP reaction will be there. He's going to leap as soon as it wears off. The bonus damage not enough. The Fissure off the mark. TP in from Nature's Prophet. Canceled out. So Miracle makes it away a little bruised, but still intact.
A lot of bruise. That Strange Tread's definitely saving him there. And he needs one big item before he can start split pushing like that. Miracle is a very greedy player. Maybe with Lincoln's and Manta you can do that, but if a TP came like maybe one second earlier or half a second earlier, he would have been dead.
Now, at this point, TongFu strikes me as the team that needs to be getting a lot out of the Storm Spirit, and they need to be running more as a group.
They're getting a lot out of him. He's 6-1-3 with the Orchid. He's doing whatever he can.
I mean, continuing to do so. That's the thing. They don't want to just let the Prophet continue to build on his gold lead. They don't want Mirana to settle in and get too comfortable.
Yep. They haven't been able to kill King J that much, or they've only killed him once. 1-1-9 on him. He's going to have a Sheep 6 soon. If he wants to go that next, I think that is the next logical item choice, and he's able to put a lot of split pressure without even being there. Look at this push. They're going to be forced to go to the T2. They're going to try and smoke up. It looks like they're gathering for. Oh, no, they're just dewarding with a gem already on XTT. So Moonlight Shadow Kings are a thing of the past.
And Glyph going to be used to help protect this bottom tier 2. And here comes Moo to help clean it up. In the meantime, Rising Stars not really pushing their advantage. I mean, they've taken a couple of losses, but that only slightly slowed them down. They're continuing to build on that lead. So no reason to get too completely risky and out of control with it. But at the same time, Rising Stars, much like LGD International, at times can fall prey to their own hesitancy to push an advantage.
Oh, we're going to see a Scepter out of Ancient Apparition. This is the first time I've seen it in competitive, and it is going to be awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Scepter duration 17 seconds. That is a long freaking time to not be able to heal.
Necro book popped and used. The tower here in mid. Down to below half health. Let's see if they want to try and engage. XTT has his 4-staff up. Axes go through the trees. There's a Nature's Call. The tower, oh wow. They actually...
the A ultimate, is that going to come out?
And they got to time it well. And there it is. Managing to connect. Got Zoe and SMJ. Going to clean them both up. In the meantime, Moo doing what he can. Bouncing back and forth the mech, though. Helping them buy time. Move very low. There's a roar that knocks them both back. But the Echo Slam from Son Sheng turns that fight around. Not just the Echo, but the Fissure as well. That looked like a complete lost fight for TongFu. Miracle reveals his location in the trees. They don't really have the damage with the Visage Familiars there doing enough damage. Turns out to be a 3-for-3. Might end up being a 4-for-3 if they can track down XTT. Makes it to the high ground, but only barely.
And then Miracle's dead.
Caught out. And playing a little bit too greedy. Chased down XTT a little too long. That's actually a very big win for TongFu. They, by all rights, were caught out, and Rising Stars missing a big opportunity.
Yeah, they were just way too clumped. They just let the Earthshaker just walk in and echo. Like, he doesn't have Blink Dagger. He just straight up walked in. And it was a very nice fissure. He kind of like split them apart. If you looked at Rising Stars, they were like in this circle over here. The fissure came in this line, and then they were all clumped over there after the Beastmaster War. It like pushed him across the fissure, and then he just walked up right here and just had that big echo. So very nice sequence of initiation from Sansheng. I thought it was all over after that three-man Ice Blast. I also think Ancient Apparition needs at least 1 point in Chilling Touch. That spell is really good.
Despite that, the goal continuing to move heavily in favor of Rising Stars. The experience is...
Midas, man. Yep, you're a hater.
I am a hater. I'm not going to lie. At this point, though, TongFu just simply not feeling like they have the punching power. And I would say it's a fairly hybrid build. I mean, CTY, by the way, very close to having his Scepter done. I mean, hell, as soon as I find the courier, it may well be done right now. Looks like, yeah.
Lincoln's on Mirana, too.
And dropping things off. XDD going for a Scepter of his own. Lincoln's done on Miracle. And in the meantime, TongFu just feeling a little bit anemic in terms of their item game.
Yeah, Zoe really needs a Scepter. Storm Spirit really needs a second item. He is doing everything he can, though, but that buyback did set him back a fair amount. Earthshaker needs his Blink Dagger. They're all pretty close to getting it, though. Beastmaster, I don't know what he's going to get next. I'd say just get a Drums or Vlads to help your team out, or a Pipe, I guess. Pipe is pretty good to prevent magic damage, and you don't actually want like heal because it's not very effective versus Ice Blast.
Zoe sprouted out and got to be run out of the lane by this rotation from Rising Stars. QQQ actually caught him out. Just didn't have the outright damage per second.
I don't know why King J went Shadow Blade instead of Scythe of Ice.
Tier 2 bottom. Defended with a fissure, but don't know if it's going to be enough. They seem to be pretty committed to this push.
They're like fairly clumped up right now. If Earthshaker had a blink, this fight would be over. Rising Stars has to be more careful about this, and he doesn't have a blink.
Oh, beautiful AA ulti, caught 3. That's going to be enough to force them back. Sansheng was actually caught with a Sacred Arrow, and the hitbox on it actually quite big. Now, Miracle has his Lincoln's popped. He's going to go ahead and jump on him. Now the Vortex tanking through the tower. Do they have the damage? Yep, he's going to be able to track him down with Ball Lightning. That's a very high priority kill. Anything they can do to keep her down is a big deal. And QQQ trying to throw the
You should have
ensnare.
used Song there and then wait for King J to TP in. That would have. I think that's definitely worth the use of Song of the Siren there.
Yep, especially since she's level 11, only has a 100-second cooldown on it.
Yeah, I think also Mirana probably should have went Manta instead of Lincoln's because he just popped the Orchid and then just straight up just kills him with the pool. So Miracle just dying way too many times unnecessarily. 6-5. He has the most deaths on the side of Rising Stars, like way more than the supports too. So he needs to stop dying. And it's similar to last game. I forgot who was playing Mirana. Or was it the last game? I don't know. We've casted so many games today, but
yep.
Miranas are just dying way too often, and they think their hero is like invincible. It's not like anti-mage. You don't have innate resistance. Blink is just way better than Leap. So I mean, they think that she's super tank, but she just falls like a fly. Wow, that AA ultimate! Look at that damage.
And they got to be real careful here. They're going to hang around and take a couple of right clicks, and they're really not far from dropping one or two. Viper, in the meantime, does manage to bring down the tower.
This thing is still off. Look at these eight like XCT so close to getting burned down. So is ZSMJ.
Power Shot going to scout things out. They know how low Roshan is. There's going to be the Song of the Siren to buy time for them to finish it. Uninterrupted, Mirana grabs the Aegis. Does look like they want to fight off of it, though. Would much rather just pull back.
Sansheng, he has his Blink Dagger right now. He needs to buy it in case he dies this fight.
Boo heading back to top. Doesn't look like there will be a fight as the Rising Stars continuing to play fairly aggressive, and there's that Blink Dagger done on Songsheng. But
they had to be really careful about positioning though. If like he had to blink this fight, it was just over. You kind of have to prepare for it. Like you have to be mentally like, well, Earthshaker hasn't died in like 10 minutes. He hasn't bought any items, so he's probably close to his blink. And good teams will split up even before he has a blink. And when he has a blink, they can minimize the losses from it.
See a little bit of movement now from TongFu looking to clear their own jungle out. They've got 4 moving through at the moment. Soon to be 5 as Mu looks to hook up with them. 16-18, 34 kills in a 30-minute game. So right as you would expect in terms of action, but has been
somebody's going to get picked off here.
There's the Fissure, caught a couple out, and the Echo Slam plus the Roar. Don't know that was necessary just to kill a Fissure, or excuse me, kill a Visage after the Fissure, but no harm, no foul. That ulti will catch a couple, and the arrow barely dodged by XTT as he 4 staffs out of the way.
Yep, man. Only one Visage Bird will fall. Visage will have his familiars like 20 seconds after he revives, so not a big deal. Look at Sangjung. Like this AA ulti is just so strong with 17 seconds duration. And wait, yeah, 17-second duration, which is pretty insane considering it's only 40-second cooldown. And I think that's gonna be a big factor if it gets to the point where TongFu can actually push their T2s. Because you cast it once, like when they're pushing along the way, and then you cast it again after the Song of the Siren, and then they like pretty much just like flop. But Zoe and Mu have BKBs up, and that's a real big problem for Rising Stars. What's their anti-BKB measure? Nothing really. They have net, but they know damage.
Yep, we kind of talked about that. I mean, when you see their team, they have a lot of ways they can make this lineup work. They can't really afford to give TongFu too much leeway, otherwise they will have the ability to punish them for it. Beastmaster's going to pick up a Necro book of his own now. Just book 1, though.
King J still farming away. Once they get his sheep, they can look for individual picks on TongFu, make them group up as 5, and then just barrage them with AA ultimates. I think that's the best game plan for them right now. Also, they need a secure farm for Mirana. She's doing okay though. She has the Aegis, so she can play a little bit or as greedy as she was playing before without the risk of dying. She also needs damage though, like so badly. I think Chrysalis and the Daedalus is the best idea for him right now because it works with Manta images. MKB not necessarily needed. No evasion on the side of Dire besides Windrunner, but I think there are other higher priorities than Windrunner.
TongFu completely out of position to defend this last outer tier tower remaining. They're not even going to glyph it. And down it goes, completely uncontested. And TongFu's running real danger of just running out of time to be relevant in this match just because of the farm difference beginning to show itself so completely. 17,000 and 12,000. I mean, basically AA and Storm are on the same level. Nature's Prophet, though, has opened up a gap of 5,000. That's essentially one big item ahead he happens to be.
And now that Rising Stars is sticking together, Mu and XTT can't really pick anyone off. But once they do start splitting up, if they do, then They will be, but they don't really need to because they're still like getting a lot of farm even while sticking as 5 together. This is one of the problems that we see with a constant 5-man run around is just you fall behind in farm, but Rising Star is not falling prey to that. A little bit is due to the minus, a little bit is due to the mobility of King J on that Nature's Prophet, and a lot of it has to do with just taking down Roshi and taking down a lot of T2s.
Miracle moving up to the top lane, feeling quite fat at the moment. Has his Demon Edge to build for damage. Once again, an MKB, he'll have just one more Javelin to complete before he has it. And the Aegis, obviously, still in his back pocket as well. Going to be holding on to it for at least a few
Get
more
Daedalus,
minutes.
bro.
And
I don't know. It's still tough. I don't know what. Well, I mean, it's a difficult situation though. Monkey King Bar better versus CSMJ, but doesn't work with Manta. Daedalus better versus everybody else and works with Manta, but worse versus CSMJ. It's I would personally go for Daedalus.
taking a look at the way the map is, both teams have kind of backed off of each other a little bit. TongFu may be looking to make something happen here in the enemy jungle. They've got 3 heroes there, perhaps looking to smoke. Visage Familiars will be spotted out. He's almost going to be able to kill one, but using their burrow command, just a little bit too difficult to be able to get the job done. And, I mean, looking ahead to the late game, and we're at 33 minutes in, the late game's pretty much underway. Based on the way the laning phase is panned out, Merlini, who do you give the advantage to?
I think Rising Stars, because they have just so much farm on everybody. Iron is probably the most under farm, but Mirana will have her whatever big item with Demon Edge soon. Nature's Prophet, she has Sheepstick, Midas, Shadowblade, and Necronomicon, Scepter, and on Visage, as well as Ancient Apparition. So, like, if it were like a normal game where the supports aren't this farm, then I would say, yeah, TongFu has BKBs. They can just truck them with BKBs, but not when they have this many items. They do have a fair amount of physical damage with the Medallion and the Summon Familiar triple 3x damage. That is actually a fair, like a lot of physical damage, and you can't underrate that.
TongFu,
so I say Rising Stars.
Continuing to stick together as long as they can. They're just going to be reclaimed in 30 seconds. Rising Stars, certainly by any other metric, is ahead. They've got 12,000 advantage going for them. The experience slightly in favor of TongFu, but slightly up. Hang on, this could turn around as King J will not be able to make it away. Moo with the gem means all of the evasion techniques simply were not going to work. And now Rising Stars looking to get a reprisal kill. They're smoked up, but nobody's home.
Yeah, that was a very inopportune time for Nature's Prophet to get picked off, and unfortunately the Aegis has expired on Miracle. ZSMJ, he is so far out. This would be a perfect time for Nature's Prophet to be there, but oh, is the arrow gonna hit? Oh,
Woohoo.
wow, that was close.
Visage Familiars are right there with him, though, and Zoe hooks up with him. So a couple of nice attempts as Rising Stars attempts to pursue it out. Taking a look at Miracle. Again, damage is not a huge problem as of right now. Has a Demon Edge up, and will be able to flat out buy an MKB pretty much after this Ancient Camp, if she so desires. AA ulti is actually going to miss just barely on Zoe and ZSMJ. Now we're going to have a jump on the XDD. It's going to be Vortex back. There's Song of the Siren. Fissure should have that path blocked. Yeah, he has nowhere. Yep, can't make it up. Nowhere to go. XTT is there. Might be ready to
backing off.
And nope, there's the Force Staff. Oh, he's stunned out by the Familiars. Couldn't get it off. Now they're going to follow him. Shackle does latch. Took a second to register graphically. And finally able to clean him up. XTT eating a lot of damage from these Familiars, though. In the meantime, they will go ahead and try to be backed off. We're going to see ZSMJ hit with Cold Feet, but able to get out of the AoE range where it would have freezed. 16-21. Nice turnaround by Rising Stars to at least slow the bleeding. However, another kill goes in the direction of TongFu.
Yeah, so much farming going on by Rising Stars. It's not like the worst move from them. It's not the best move because I think they can get picks with Scythe of Ice, but instead TongFu getting the opportunities that they need. I'm surprised that they all backed off, and I'm surprised there was actually no response from Rising Stars. Like, they chased them up this hill. Like, this choke is a very bad place for TongFu to fight. If they hit a big AA ultimate there, they had 3 Visage Birds there too. It's a very narrow choke for Mirana Arrow. So I think it could have been very favorable, but they're just like, screw it. We'll just let our support Visage die. And they didn't lose any birds either. I think they could have turned the fight around though. Rising Star just waiting for like the perfect opportunity. By contrast, we saw Alliance with the Aegis today. They like took a Aegis fight when it was like 30 seconds left on expiration, and they took a Rax with it. But Rising Star is just choosing to go to more passive route.
37 kills in a 37-minute game. Relatively...
They're looking for a pick on him right now. They get the sheep on him.
Moo down the half health. There's the A ulti to help out, but Moo popping the BKB and ball lightning away means they're going to come up wanting. Gold graph is still hovering around 12,000. The experience, though, is definitely beginning to go in favor of TongFu. So they've managed to stop the bleeding, even if they're not making up a ton of ground. But in terms of
casual demon edge into BKB, that is some build miracle.
Yeah, that's actually really surprising. Could have had an MKB there. One would think the Lincolns would give him all the survivability he needed, along with his inherent escapability with Leap. But Roche back up in about 40 seconds. Could see a major contestation this time.
Casual demon edge. Oh, miracle, miracle, miracle. CTY, meanwhile, gets picked off on bottom.
Another hero they simply can't afford to lose. He's going to drop, and he's down for quite a while now. Roshan will be back up before he's back up. That's something, obviously, that TongFu doesn't know quite yet, but will know sometime in the near future. As soon as they decide to poke their nose in that Roche pit, they'll know he's around.
Yeah, that's going to be really bad for Rising Stars. That is the, what, third Aegis or second Aegis? I can't remember. I guess I'll click on it once he respawns, but the cheese is a really big deal. If they get it on, oh, it's just the second one. So if Storm Spirit gets it, that's just so extremely difficult to deal with.
Zoe coming out with his scepter now complete, just waiting on the pieces to be flown in. So his combat utility going to be coming into play in a much bigger way looking ahead. And I'm really surprised at how content both teams are to just sit back and farm. You can understand the mindset of both in that regard, but at the same time, most of the best teams you see don't just sit back on a lead. They press it as hard as they possibly can.
Yeah, and I mean, the gold lead has just been stagnant for the last close to 10 minutes or so. Rising Stars, they really need to pick up, but if you look at TongFu, they have so much lockdown, right? They have Orchid into a Vortex, into a Primal Roar, into a Shackle, into Echo. Like, they can just keep someone stunned for like 10 seconds. On the other hand, Rising Stars, they initiate with a Sheep, but they have nothing to follow up on a hero like Storm Spirit, who if you just let him breathe for like half a second, he'll pop BKB and zip away. So they need to coordinate a little bit better. Like after the Sheep, either hit with an arrow, hit with a 3x Visage stun, just hit with a cold feet like right before so it procs during the Sheep. Like anything like that would be really good for them, but they need to kill Storm Spirit. He's only died twice this game, and one of them he just fought back and immediately got a kill afterwards.
I'll tell you one thing that it's got to be a concern is that, you know, obviously they don't have access to this, but I'm sure they can feel it the same we can feel it as we watch, is the gold totals are beginning to close up a bit again. The profit is still well far ahead, sitting at 21.500 gold. Marana right behind him at 16,000. But after that, Storm now right in that same range. He's at 15.4. 15 for the Ancient Apparition is nice, but even Zoe on our Viper beginning to feel rather large, sitting at 13.1.
Decimated, though. I mean, this is what happens when you have a super farm Visage. He can pretty much just solo it. But Marana still slowly but surely working on her items. But yeah, for the Aegis, okay. TongFu chooses to pick some fights, but it is a bad fight for them to take. They do have to worry about the Naga Saturn initiate, even if they have BKBs.
Rising Star is going to rotate out immediately. We'll see if they want to farm with that Aegis or try to make something happen with it. They're sufficiently far ahead. I feel like they should be able to farm. Or should be able to make something happen, I mean.
TongFu has a lot of items in there. They have a Sheep Stick on Windrunner. They have a Lincoln's as well as a BKB on Storm Spirit. They have a Necro 3 on Beastmaster. They've had a Blink on Earthshaker for quite some time. And Viper has finally finished a Scepter. So, like, they had all these items just because Rising Star just let them farm up. And, like, if you have BKBs and they don't, that's when you press advantage. You don't wait for them to farm out your BKB and you get your next item unless you're completely starving them, which they are absolutely not.
Who's not starving is our Nature's Prophet, who has already got up a Scythe of Ice, a BKB, and his Shadow Blade. And even
he's going to have to sell his Midas soon. That is blasphemy.
Sad times. Can't be six-slotted with a Midas. It just doesn't work that way. ZSMJ picks up the Ogre Club. He's got a Scythe of Ice up as well as a Force Staff. So the initiation chain is going to be very dependent on these support heroes, especially the high mobility ones.
He needs to scout with his trans. So he's having them all creep here, but he just needs to send them over here, scout out where their team is so he can like put some pressure on the top lane. They need to start getting T3 towers. It's getting to the point where Nature's Prophet is like super stacked, but he needs to do something about it before they have equal items to him. Nature's Prophet's strength is in farming really fast and being very efficient, but once everyone gets 6-slotted, that lead is negated.
We'll see TongFu send a 4-man smoke into the enemy jungle. And not going to be able to find anything whatsoever. Nature's Prophet is actually here in mid.
Oh, they're wrapping around from behind. Can they find a big echo from Song Chung? Are they going to wrap from behind, or are they too scared? They have maybe 20 seconds left on the smoke. It's going to be a pretty fickle timing window.
They're going to loop back. They know they're tier 3, very likely to come under a massive threat now. Has regened a bit. And Moo eating the...
Our Rising Star's position is really good, though. They know that everyone's missing, so they're staying away from where they could approach from uphill.
Here we go to Moo bouncing in, trying to slow this down. Mirana, in the meantime, has finished up her Daedalus. So building a little bit of crit, certainly going to help her. Needs to use his Midas in the meantime, though.
The only problem is they don't have buybacks on either Nature's Prophet or Mirana, so I don't think they should take this fight. And as much as I do want them to fight sometime, this is not the right time, not without buybacks. They have the Aegis, but they just need to farm for like 1 more minute to have buybacks on those heroes. They still have another 4 minutes left, or actually 3.5 left on the Aegis, so farm for a minute, farm your buybacks, and then go in.
Rising Stars continuing to keep up the siege, even if it is just a strangulation maneuver. Just not letting TongFu feel comfortable coming out of their own base.
Song Chung should smoke. He can't be spotted out. If he gets a good echo off, they win the fight. But if he gets caught out, he's going to be forced to buy it back, and he barely has enough gold.
Continuing to melt down the creep wave. Taking a look at the buyback status. Storm Spirit does have it. Prophet and Ancient Apparition, as do Viper. And the Visage and the Naga Siren on the side of Rising Stars. So they're in fairly good shape there, but as you mentioned, not having it on the Mirana is certainly a problem. She still needs another 1,000 gold to get it up and ready, too.
So let the split push continue. Furion Trias pushing bottom. We have Nature's or Naga Siren Illusions pushing top, but still unable to really get that much damage from the T3, not even able to force out a Glyphia.
Might be able to do so now. Fisher's going to be thrown out here. They're going to engage onto XDD. There's a Viper Strike following the Ball Lightning into Vortex. But XDD able to mech through it, and a crafty escape by the Storm Spirit. In the meantime, Tier 1 committed to completely. And out they come. There's a BKB going to be used on QQQ. Can they blow him up fast enough? They can. Echo Slams there doing good damage. Now King Jay's the next one to drop. San Sheng will end up eating it as well, but Miracle being focused down following the Hex, he's going to end up losing his Aegis. Buyback on Song Sheng, the only death that cost TongFu there. Managing to force a couple of buybacks themselves. Very good base defense. We'll see if they can do it once again, minus all of those big ultimates, though.
King Jay popped his BKB so late that fight. He shouldn't have had a buyback.
Shackle not going to latch. There's going to be a nice air on the Song Sheng. However, Moo bouncing around trying to find targets on which to engage. QQQ using Song of the Siren now immediately turns it off. We're going to see the Lincolns pop. XDD's in trouble. Fissure's there. Zoe ensnared down. Force staffed away. Still not enough to keep him alive. Dust goes off from Song Sheng. Moo trying to make a run for the well, being pursued out. And the Lincolns will be popped by Miracle. 18 to 25.
Oh, is AO going to catch Moo?
It does.
Oh, that's big. That's a big ult.
Shot him.
Now, look at his... He actually did not buy back, but he has a 100-second revive. So he's kind of forced to. They can just slow push with Nature's Prophet, and his Necrobook is up right now. So Moo is going to have to buy back if he doesn't want to lose his Rex.
Spam going to be hoping... They're hoping it's enough to at least keep the racks up in the tier 3.
They're baiting him. They're baiting Rising Stars to go ahead. But, I mean, if he doesn't have to use buyback, that's a good win for them.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Miracle with about 3,000 gold in the bank now. Likely to save up for something like a butterfly. We'll see what he wants to snag. But the gold definitely just continues to go further and further upwards. TongFu just can't seem to get that under control, even though they are beginning to become rather underleveled. 10,000 experience there. Advantage not going to matter when you're hexed and ensnared. There's the A ulti. Actually got 3 with it with a relatively small sphere. Moo comes in, looking to catch a target out. We'll find CTY. Viper Strike there as well. QQQ making a run to the south. And Moo likely to end up dead. Actually, Miracle's going to get himself a double kill. Zoe and ZSMJ both having to run.
The AA ult is still on them after the BKB. That's absurd. Oh, Zoe's so close to dying. If he gets crit, maybe? Oh, no, it's disjointed. But I guess they will get the first racks of the game. Rising Stars. I did not see them taking that racks with that buyback from Storm Spirit.
Buyback from Storm, just not enough to get the job done. And we can see Mirana even though she's not playing a hard farming carry, I mean, we're at 47 minutes in. She has showed up, started to show off the farm a little bit, but for the most part, not nearly as flashy. And
it's not. Like, imagine if they had like a hero with an Abyssal, they could just like wreck Storm Spirit or Viper like during the BKBs. But like she BKBs, she gets Viper Struck, whatever, or Roared, or both.
Tier 2 top gonna drop. TongFu really up against him now. They're gonna catch the SMJ with the Visage Familiars is gonna be, and it's there to lock him down. Mu there trying to do what he can, but now he's next on the list. The SMJ with his BKB pop though, avoiding a lot of that damage. Not so lucky for the Storm Spirit. That's probably gonna be your GG. That's 80 seconds. The Windrunner's down, and 100 seconds that the
with Mu down, that has to be GG.
And still waiting on them to call it. Don't know that they're going to call it. They may just wait to be raxed here.
All in all, Rising Stars played very well this game. I think the weakest player on their some things that I didn't like about it was Miracle got picked off a lot. He died too many times in the early game. It looks like one more fight.
There's going to be Sunshine getting the Echo Slam off. They're going to manage to get at least a couple. There's the ulti that goes off, but Rising Stars with so much magic immunity and survivability, really just unable to be penetrated, and there's the GG. So that was a long one, but Rising Stars proving why they're a team who can't be counted out. They find themselves a Game 2 win. And our final series, my friend, thought we were going to get a little extra sleep. Not so lucky. We're going the distance. Game 3 on the horizon.
Yeah, so a couple things I didn't like from that game. I think the Miracle and CTY got picked off a little bit too often. I think that some of the Song of the Sirens were questionable. He like turned them off, turned them on during his team's BKB and just like a bunch of weird stuff. And I think TongFu overall played very, very well. They just weren't ready for the constant Nature's Prophet ultimate and the AA ultimate from the mid and the bottom lane and just got wrecked there. So very good draft and play by Rising Stars. I'm impressed after the first game stomp.
And this has just characterized this team, if we're completely honest. I mean, they have been having this up and down kind of a performance for quite some time now. When they're on, they're on. They can beat anyone. And TongFu, certainly not a team to fall asleep on. Their record not as impressive as, say, at LGD, China's, or at DK's, or even at Invictus Gaming in our standings. But they certainly, even the series they've lost, have been very, very competitive. So definitely one of the best teams in the world. And Rising Stars, who we saw just not perform that well previously in our season, living up to the hype, at least here in game number 2. 48 minutes, 56 seconds, the time it took. 26-28, the final kill score as TongFu drops game 2, and we'll be going to a game 3. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, joined by Ben Merlini Wu. Thought maybe that was going to be our last match of the night, but instead we get to go the entire way with our final best of 3 of this weekend's Eastern Division play. Technically not the weekend, it is Monday, but you get the drift. Anyway, guys, thanks for soldiering through with us, especially our brothers and sisters in Europe and the East Coast and so on and so forth. Hopefully, the rest of the series will live up to the hype that Game 2 has set. We'll be right back. Game 3, our final game of the night here on the HyperX D2L. Stick with us.